Hi yogis, welcome to your Maya Align into the unknown. Today's practice will be using just the one block, and if you'd like to prepare in your opening posture by taking that block and placing it beneath your sit bones at the medium height to get us reasonably elevated and to create a little bit of space before us, behind us in your hero pose, your Virasana type shape. If you don't have your cork block, hit pause and grab that. Or if you don't have a cork block, then feel free to grab a prop that will assist in elevating you. So whatever, get creative, whatever's going to assist you in that elevation of the hips and find you in a spacefulness. So find that point upon the sit bones that the block is able to support, and feel into that little bit of space in front of you, just in front of the sit bones, between the knees as well, and allow the shins to run parallel of each other, checking in with the feet and ensuring they have a good alignment too, and notice whether they are instinctively rolling out or rolling in, or if you can reset to find that nice set firm alignment today. We're going to be beginning today's practice with a mudra. It's a linga mudra, and it's working with our Agni. We're working with fire today. You'll be taking your left hand and create a little thumbs up shape with the left side, tucking those four fingers in and leaving the left thumb elevated. Your right hand is then going to be wrapping the left and interlacing the left hand so that the right thumb can wrap around and create a little circle. Now you do want to watch that the index finger of the right goes on top of the left, and you've got your little circle there protecting, guarding, and being the little fireplace for the left Agni, for the left thumb. From there, we're drawing our Linga Mudra toward the navel, toward our solar plexus, our place of fire. Draw the elbows back and draw the chin back, and allow the spine to stack and elongate, creating length from the sit bones. Close down the eyes and take a deep inhale through the nose. Opening your mouth and sighing out the breath. Continuing with your breath, and as you draw that deep inhale, I want you to send the breath through the nostrils and feel it through the back of the throat, sending that inhale deeply down to the pit of your lungs, your belly, and sending it all the way down to that Linga Mudra. And as you exhale, I want you to feel a little bit of heat in the breath, as if you're fogging up a mirror in front of you, creating a little bit of a blur, a little bit of steam, expelling some of that heat that resides within you deep in the belly. Continuing with this breath with your deep inhales and active exhales. With our hiss and our sigh and our release, that fogginess that we create upon the mirror, a little bit of a blur, and it blocks our view just a little. When we're unable to see clearly, we still see the outline, we still see the general reflection. It just lacks that little bit of clarity. Continuing with your breath, yogis, we'll take a few more rounds. I've got a quote for you today, and it's by Theodore Roosevelt, and it's super simple. It's, keep your eyes on the stars, but your feet on the ground. And today we're feeling into that with the fire in our bellies, that when there's this excitable sensation within us and we're not quite sure where we're going and the picture's not completely clear, are you still fogging up your glass? Let's take 3 more rounds of breath. Although the picture isn't completely clear, our feet are still firmly planted upon the ground. 2 more rounds of breath. We may not be able to clearly see the path before us, and that's okay. final round of breath as we stay deeply rooted in our fixed, firm foundations of our feet today. We're going to be exploring that mistiness, that fogginess, the stars above us, the unknown. And gently blink open the eyes and releasing that linga mudra. Take a sweep of the sky, spread your wings super wide, interlace the hands overhead and open through the chest, through the throat as you hang the head heavy. Let's release the hands and release the sit bones from the block. Today's practice is going to feel a little different with us playing with that sensation of fire. If you've ever built a fire for yourself, if you have a fireplace at home, you'll know that if you, as you begin settling to the back of your mat, take the knees nice and wide and the big toes together, and we'll take a little walk as we feed our low belly down now to the mat, finding a balasana. So when you're building a fireplace, you would know that you can't just go straight into dumping a massive big log on the fire. You can't load up the fireplace, yet it's fuel, right? So adding fuel to the fire doesn't stimulate or create a better fire. One more breath. You need to go small, take it slow, walking up the mat and draw the knees together. Back to your hero pose. Now no prop beneath you. Take the arms nice and wide once more. Inhale. Interlace the hands, open the chest and the heart. Gaze to the stars, keeping your eyes on the stars today. Exhale, slowly release it down. And let's roll into our tabletop. So when we build a fire for ourselves, a successful fire is one that has space beneath all areas, and it allows a lot of oxygen to surround the wood, to surround the fuel. Space between the fuel allows for a beautiful flourishing fire. Today, as we work with our flourishing fire, there's going to be space, but it's between the entirety of each posture that we take today. Inhale, sink the belly nice and low, gaze to the sky. Exhale, draw chin into chest, round out through the back body, creating a little bit of rhythm with the breath with your initial movement. But then as we go a little rogue today and stay out of the pattern and the routine, begin taking whatever fluid movement feels good for you. No beginning and no end today. We're going to be flowing through our postures and getting comfortable with the unknown. Often when we take our yoga practice, when we take our postures, there's so much focus on specific alignment and there's structure. But you'll know with us playing with the element of fire just by simply sitting back and watching a fire. When there's lack of structure, when there's a little bit of wood slowly being added bit by bit here and there, spread surrounding your little teepee or your little wood cabin, whatever it is you're building, however it is you're building. The more space between the wood, the more space between your postures. You're creating a beautiful slow burning fire. Taking 2 final breaths here in this rhythmical release of the spine, of the pelvis, of the chest, of the shoulders. We're flowing like an open flame today, and they never flow in a straight line. They never flow, those flames, in one set pattern. They're free. And today we're going to be free with our structure and feel into the comfort of the unknown. Let's extend the right leg, loading into the right toes and planting the hands. Draw left knee into the chest as you open through the back body, feeling into that teepee space between the shoulder blades, drawing your belly into a deep contraction. As you exhale and slowly lower down, we're keeping the knee from the mat today, extending that left leg back. Exhale, scoop in and draw to rise. Let's release and take that twice more, feeling into that extension, nice long line of energy. Exhale, draw in, create space. And then find the knee planting behind the left wrist for your pigeon. Release the hands, sweeping the sky, your burning flames. Send them to the stars. As you exhale, open, twist, left hand paws open, right hand towards the back of the room, running the right hand down the right leg. Your left arm sweeps overhead. Take a pause. And as you exhale, left hand meets the mat. Right hand's going to sweep overhead. You're going to tuck those right toes and draw to rotate that left leg, just supporting you initially. You're going to be sending that out to take across to the back of the room, linking the knees, taking a seat and drawing into your Garudasana cross. From your Garudasana, open the chest, prepare to rise. Right hand's going to plant, sending it overhead. Stay in that Garudasana cross. As your right hand meets the mat, we roll over the hands and take the hips to the sky. 3-leg in your Garudasana. Exhale, pour through and find plank. Take it back, resetting and finding any little adjustments you need to create enough space for your fire, your Garudasana. We pour through in a gentle little alignment flow now. Left knee draws to the left elbow. Take it back to extend. Left knee draws across to the right elbow. Draw it back to extend. Left knee through the midline plants your pigeon. Take your sweep rise to the sky. Exhale, we plant. And tuck the toes. Draw it into the chest. And take it to the sky. And final round here, left knee through the midline. And find your Garudasana. Draw back into that beautiful little down dog in Garudasana legs. And we'll take it back to our seat, opening one more time, straight in from Garudasana now. Your Vashisthasana in Garudasana. Your eagle, nice and fiery. Hold one more breath. Keeping those eyes on the stars if it feels okay. Right hand plants, and we're going to roll all the way over to the right hand and release that left set of toes, your legs to the sky, finding a star. Left hand plants, left foot plants. Drop the knees. Draw it all the way back. Sweep it all the way back. Take a breath in your restorative balasana. Unravel the spine. Draw to rise. Take a roll of the shoulders. Yogi, straight in, building that little bit of fire today. Let's slowly take a walk, and we'll take that to the other side. Hands meet the mat. And taking the left toes to extend, pressing into the hands. Right knee draws into the chest, open through the back. Point the right toes. As you exhale and slowly slide that right knee down, keep it off the mat, just floating. And then extending, shoot it all the way back. Nice long line of energy. Take a breath. Drawing it through, into the chest, open through the back body. Sinking back down to the mat, take your sweep. One more time through the midline. We inhale, open through the back body. Contraction through the core, stimulation for that fire. This time as you release and sweep to the back of the room, we'll draw it all the way through and find pigeon on the right. Sink into the hips, light through the fingertips, sweep to the back of the room, open the chest. Exhale, plant the hands, rolling over onto that right sit bone now. We find our right hand pressed into the mat. Open on the left side. We press into that left foot, the right hand, and use our right foot for some stability. Sending the right foot to the back of the room. You find that lock and that connection over the left knee. And pausing in your Vashisthasana. Left hand meets the mat. Stay in that Garudasana cross. And from here, yogis, right knee draws to right elbow. Send it straight back. Right knee across to the left elbow. Send it straight back. Right knee through the midline. And take it back into your Garudasana. Release out of the legs and find your down dog in your Garudasana. Take a breath. And taking that release one more time. Right knee, right elbow. Shoot it back nice and high. Right knee, left elbow. And shoot it back nice and high. Right knee through the midline. And plant your pigeon. Inhale, draw to rise. Exhale, plant the hands, release out of those left toes, take it into the Garudasana and find yourself supporting yourself on the right hand, left leg in Garudasana, Vashisthasana. Maybe you open through the left side body. We take the gaze to the sky. One more breath. I'm preparing to transition. Slowly drawing through, left hand meets the mat. We stay in that Garudasana and release out into our star shape in our Vashisthasana. Long line of energy. Maybe send that right hand overhead. Maybe you gaze to the stars here. Hands both meet the mat. Knees meet the mat. Draw it all the way back. And take your restorative. Release your rest. Come back to collect and find some space. Come back to find some oxygen again to fuel your fire. Maybe you stay in your balasana or slowly unravel and find your hero pose. Sip of water if you need. Yogis, we're working our way through and finding ourselves with our postures today, playing with the unknown. Often our yoga sequences and travel along this super set path, and we find our way into a flow, and there's repetition and the path is clear. We know how many breaths, we know how many rounds, we know how long we're holding each posture for. For today, our fiery practice is broken into bits of fuel for your fire with space between. Your first round complete. Take your final breath here. Let's draw to our standing sequence. Hands meet the mat, tabletop. Let's tuck the toes, and this time we come back to that right leg extending, so the left knee stays planted. We'll draw the left knee into the chest. Extend it and take it nice and high. Now lots of space in your TP, your three-leg dog. Keeping those hips squared off. Take one more breath. As you exhale, we're going to take a giant leap of faith all the way through and top of the mat and sink the hips. Right hand plants. Peel the left open to the sky, spinal twist. And take a pause, loading into that strong scissoring action, your feet firmly grounded. You're going to be lifting out of that right hand and taking your time to draw into a spiral of this twist. Left hand runs the length of your right leg. Right arm draws overhead. Our spiral today, fueling from our fiery center, releases us. And as you windmill the hands, you're going to be drawing all the way back into a warrior two. We rotate that back foot and settle down into your warrior. But today we play with the fire, taking the palms towards the right side and taking a fist, and we'll sweep the right hand in front, drawing the archer's bow and connecting that right hand to your heart as you sink deeply into the posture. Eyes on the prize here. We're taking it to the stars. One more breath. And slowly sending it in a gentle, gentle back bend, sinking into the hips. Left hand to the sky, right hand stays at heart. And pouring through and finding the left elbow rested upon the left knee, releasing your fire. Spiral it now all the way overhead, reaching towards the front of the room. And finding your extended side angle. We rotate, left hand meets the mat once more. That's your right hand. Left hand spirals back to where we begun in our gentle spinal twist. Preparing giant step. That left foot's going to take you all the way back to the end of the mat to meet your right foot once more. And this time as you do, you're taking it into that star shape we closed out on our first flow. Left hand meets the mat. Left foot meets the mat. And drop the knees and slowly draw it back. Your hero's pose. Your hero's pose, yogis, your transition today. And between our postures, we'll pour it down just and take one breath. We reset, spine long, maybe each time. Coming back for your couple of rounds of breath to connect to that Linga Mudra. Elevating that left thumb, feeling into the fire. 3 breaths total. Take one more. Releasing it, sweep the sky. Inhale, interlace the hands. Open the chest, the heart, the throat. Release the hands and take your walk tabletop position. Left leg releases back of the room. Right knee draws into the chest as you push away from the mat. Take a breath here. Inhale. And from there, sending the right toes back of the room. Keep the hips squared off. Sink into that left heel. Stay another breath. Right knee pause through the midline. And let's plant that right foot. Opening into your gentle spinal twist. The right hand now peeling open to the sky. No rush today, working with that beautiful slow burning fire. We don't want to add too much fuel to the fire and have it burn out too quickly. Let's get light through those left fingertips and prepare to create your first fiery cycle now on this side. Slowly drawing in that windmill. Left arm towards the front of the room. Right arm draws all the way back to meet the leg, the left hamstring, and take the gaze to the stars. Windmilling, sending your flames forwards. Left arm spirals forwards, below and to the back of the room. Right arm overhead. Rotate, and we're finding our warrior 2 now as you sink nice and deeply down on the right. And take a breath. And setting up your alignment, and then rotate the palms now to the left side of the room. Finding your Agni elevated. Sweep the left to meet the right, and then draw it back in your archer's bow. Left hand to heart as you pause here. Let's sweep it to the sky. And slowly elevating that viewpoint on the right, and drawing left side of heart back. Squaring off the shoulders. One more breath. And tilting forwards, directing that fire back down. Right elbow meets the right knee, releasing that left side and sweeping it to the back of the room. And finding your extended side angle, gazing to the stars beneath that left armpit. Take a breath. So beautiful, yogis. Love that long line of energy, that beautiful big flame. We're closing it off and planting the left hand down upon the mat, rotating into those back toes and preparing. And we're taking a giant sweep now with that right foot all the way to the back of the mat and finding your star shape, your Vashisthasana, maybe extending right hand overhead. Rotate through the midline, take a breath. Drop the knees and draw it back, your Balasana. We inhale, draw to rise. Interlace the fingers, open the chest, the shoulders, the heart, the throat. Exhale, release the hands. Hands plant on the mat, draw into your tabletop. Right toes extend. Left knee draws into the chest. Feel to the fire. Stay one breath only. Sweep it to the sky, and this time open into that scorpion. As you square it off, left foot draws all the way through to center and plants. Sink the hips nice and low. From here, both arms sweep to rise. And as we inhale, take your flames to the sky. Take your gaze to the sky. As you exhale, we're going to come back to firmly ground in the feet via a cactus. As you exhale, we're sinking all the way down and finding that right knee connecting to the mat. As you exhale, float, throwing your flames forward and rocking back into a beautiful Hanumanasana. We're floating here, sweeping your flames low and sending them to the back of the room. Stay one breath. As you prepare, we're working from our Hanumanasana, planting the left foot, sweep the hands low, drawing all the way in, right knee into the chest. Exhale your Dakasana and sending it to the back of the room and gazing at the ground. This time as you inhale and draw to rise, we're coming back to that Garudasana cross. Right knee drapes across the left. Sweep the arms. Right arm drapes beneath the left. And as we sink it nice and low, 3 breaths total, we find maybe elbows connecting, extending those fingertips to the sky. Final breath. As you release and sweep the arms to the sky, we're slowly setting it back with that right foot ninja style, with the balance, opening into our half moon. My goodness, your block at the top of the mat nice and handy as you find the legs extended, the arms extended. And planting right foot to the mat. Sweeping left arm overhead. And finding the sun rise as you prepare to let the sun set. Exhale, pour windmill all the way down. Right hand meets the mat. Left hand to the sky. Sweep the lefty back and find that extended star shape. Rotate and find your hands meeting the mat. Drop the knees. Slowly draw it back. Sliding it on back and staying in your Balasana 2 more rounds of breath. Or come back to that Linga Mudra for your 2nd and 3rd round of breath. And we take things slow. Yes, the path may be unknown. But with all the uncertainty, with your feet firmly fixed upon the ground, we find balance and we find subtle points of knowing amidst the unknown. Releasing your Linga Mudra. Inhale, sweep the sky. Interlace the hands, open the chest, the heart. Releasing the bind. Hands meet the mat. Take a walk in tabletop position. Left toes send them to the back of the room. Right knees draw into the chest. Open through the back of the heart. Take a breath. Sweep and find your 3-leg dog. Hips this time opening and finding your scorpion on the right. As you sweep through the midline, plant the foot between the hands, sinking the hips nice and low. And this time we release the hands and sweep the sky, sending your flames super high. And prepare here, creating space. And as you exhale, or drawing down via a cactus for the left knee to plant, opening through the chest and the shoulders, your flames, sending them forwards from here. And you can release out of those back toes initially if you like, and release the right toes, feeling into that full expression of Hanumanasana. Or if you prefer to balance on the back toes, then maybe that feels good for you too. And from your Hanumanasana, releasing your flame to the back of the room, pouring head nice and low, resetting, sweeping that Arm flow through center, planting right foot. We draw left knee into the chest to rise. Exhale, we sweep it back and find your Dakasana. Take your time. Slow burning fire today. From Dakasana, sweep it nice and low. Take it to the sky. Left knee into the chest. Find your Garudasana. Left knee over the right, single or double bind. And as you sweep the arms, left arm below the right, sinking nice and low, and maybe even connecting elbows to knees as you take your 3 breaths. Final breath. Releasing that bind. Sweep to rise. Left knee draws into the chest. Slowly setting it up ninja style towards the back of the mat and finding your half moon. Maybe using the block for balance here. Right hand meets the block, or allow it to float freely. Either way, sending those flames strong to the back of the room, to the stars. When you're ready, slowly guide the left foot back, planting it upon the mat. Sweeping the right, left arm runs down the back of the leg, right arm to the sky. Your windmill, spiraling the arms. Left hand meets the mat, right to the sky, your spinal twist. Prepare, giant step. Right foot to the back of the room, balancing on that outer blade of the left. Maybe sending that left arm overhead. Square it off. Take a breath. Drop the knees. Slowly slide it on back. And finding your 3 breaths in your Balasana. Or maybe you unravel to rise and find your 3 breaths in your Linga Mudra. Left thumb elevated. Right thumb wrapping and creating the little fireplace for your fire to shine bright. Either way, we find stillness. We come back to slow the fire before it burns out of control. Yogis, take one more deep inhale. Open your mouth side out, release the breath. Gently blink open the eyes, and let's take a sweep of the hands overhead. Interlace open the chest, the shoulders, the throat. And this time as you exhale and take a sweep, know that you're going into your 4th and final round here through your progressive alignment practice today. Staying with this fuel and this fire, we bring it back to find a more grounded flow. Extending right toes back of the room. Find the hips nice and stable. Take a breath. And as you exhale, press into the hands, press into those right toes, drawing the left knee back into the chest as you've been playing with. Sweeping it nice and high. Staying in your 3 leg with the hips squared off initially. And drawing the forehead down, hang the head nice and heavy. And putting our previous flows together, that left knee draws all the way towards the left elbow. Take it nice and high. Your 3-leg dog. Left knee draws across to the right elbow. Sink the hips low. Inhale, open towards your 3-leg dog. And this time that left knee draws through. Find the pigeon plant. Take your sweep overhead. Inhale, draw to rise. And we find our open twist. Right arm runs the length of the right leg. Left arm spirals overhead. So beautiful. And this time as you draw through to plant that left hand on the mat, we're going to slowly slide hands up the back of that right leg, and maybe you connect just to the heel, the back of your leggings, or take a walk and take the top of the foot. And slowly drawing in to release the quad on the right into a gentle, gentle stretch. And maybe you get light through those left fingertips, drawing a little higher. Maybe you bring the block in and allow that to elevate the spine a little more. If you've got the room to play with, we're sliding into the wrist, into the elbow. Preparing to square off and take our flames to the sky once more. Finding yourself nice and stable. If you're okay here, releasing that left arm to the sky. And we find our archer's bow that we took in our standing posture before. Right arm drawing in, left arm drawing open. We take it to the sky. Stay one more breath. Exhale, our windmill now. Left hand tense, right arm releases that leg, spirals all the way overhead and extends nice and long as you sink the right side of your body, allowing the right cheek and the right ear maybe to rest like a pillow upon that right arm. Or maybe you take it a little deeper to the mat, gazing over the left shoulder. Your final breath. And sliding that right arm all the way back in, releasing that block if you use that for practice. We're going to take the right toes to tuck and open into that full scorpion now with the left. So big power press. Take the left toes to the sky. Open and find your scorpion. And this time as you square it off and feed it across the body, we take the knee through the midline, find that Garudasana, single or double bind, open to release onto that left side, taking the right hand to the sky. We find our seat, facing the back of the room now. Releasing out of both hands. Draw that left knee into a deeper release for your Adho Paschimottanasana. Using the weight of that left leg as fuel for your fire. Extend your flames. As you exhale and pour forwards, we use the weight to assist us with the release of that hamstring. So prepare as it's going to be a whole lot more intense than your traditional Adho Paschimottanasana. Three breaths only, yogis. Take your final one now. And let's sweep both hands to the sky. Open twist, left hand plants the mat. Right hand spirals overhead as you draw back into that Garudasana in your three-leg dog. Left knee through center. We peel it open into your scorpion. Square it off and plant the feet and ripple through to your tabletop. And drop the knees, release the toes, exhale back via your balasana. One breath. Sweep the hands, draw back to your hero. You have one final side to close out. Let's take it to the left now. Inhale. Interlace and open. Release and sweep. In tabletop position. Left toes extend. Right knee into the chest. Open through the back body. And pointing those right toes. Extend right toes to the back of the room. Keep the hips squared off for these first few rounds. Right knee outside the right tricep, pouring the body forwards, feeling into the strength and the fire of your plank. Inhale, send it back, hips stay squared off. Right knee across the body, right knee to left elbow. Inhale, send it back, your three-leg dog. And this time that right knee as it draws through, we plant and find our pigeon. Light through the fingertips, we sweep to rise. Opening, twist. Your right arm draws to the front of the room. Your left arm draws to the back of the room. Left arm down the back leg, that left leg. And sweeping the right hand overhead. Take a breather. So beautiful. And as you spiral forwards, yogis, right hand meets the mat. Left hand sweeps overhead, resetting yourself. And this time, as you reach towards the back of the room, you're drawing that left knee in, sinking back into that left hip, and taking a walk with the right hand. Maybe you draw the block back in for a little bit of height, a little bit of assistance here to find the spine elongated. Looking to slowly open through that left quad, enough for you to slide the top of the foot into the crease of the wrist or the elbow. From here, once you find your balance, once you find stability in the unstable surface of the ground beneath you, we prepare to take our gaze to the stars. Light through the right hand, we sweep open palm and draw those 4 fingers in, finding left hand towards the heart, right arm towards the front of the room, taking it overhead and playing with all the balance and all the instability and all the unknown. Final breath. Shooting for the stars. The right hand meets the mat, tenting into those right fingertips beside the knee. We slowly release the left. And a beautiful big spiral here as you center off for the spine. Hand meets the mat. And you're looking to slide that left hand all the way down now, drawing a long line of energy through the left side. Maybe you draw your left cheek and ear to rest upon the left bicep, or maybe you draw it all the way down to the mat. Either way, we're gazing over that right shoulder as you find length and create space through that left side. And we use our slow burning, fiery passion and desire, whether it be for our practice or for our purpose. When we take our time and try to avoid smothering the fire with fuel, whether the path is clear, whether it's a little smoky, misty, that mirror is fogged. As long as our feet remain firmly fixed upon the ground, slowly drawing to rise, we can take our gaze and our focus to the stars. And drawing the spine nice and long, yogis, we're going to be planting the hands and tucking those left toes and drawing now into our full scorpion as you release. Right leg sweeps open, open those hips to reset. That should feel so good. Right knee sweeps through the midline and we find our Garudasana now as you take the right knee across the left, single or double bind, resetting as you need to find your Garudasana in your 3-leg dog. And from here, as you draw through from your Garudasana, we're going to take the load into the right hand and find a pivot, releasing that left hand to the sky, maybe finding Garudasana in your Vashisthasana for a moment, and then settling back to your seat. Left leg's extended. And that right knee, we're assisting it over to align that right knee to rest upon the left. Extending your flames. Inhale, long spine. Take 1 breath. As you exhale and draw the body forwards, releasing the back of that left hamstring. We hang the head heavy. We hang the heart heavy. And we find length through the hamstring, length through the back body. And find just a moment of stillness, feeling into that flickering flame. So beautiful and meditative to watch the flames dancing. And when we notice there's no real pattern, there's no real reason, rhyme. Each flame simply flickering and going where it needs to go. and feeling into whatever fuel it requires at that particular time. Slowly draw back to rise and send your flames now, slowly flickering to the sky. We inhale. Our open twist now sends our right hand back towards the front of the room to plant, our left hand to the sky, and we're going to draw through, planting that left foot. Inhale back via your little Vashisthasana in your Garudasana legs. Left-handed plant upon the mat, your three-leg dog in your final release here in your Garudasana. Left knee, right knee draws all the way through, extends to open and take your counter in your scorpion. Square it off, yogis, plant it on the mat, take your final ripple to your plank. And closing out with one slow burning, strong release all the way to the mat, your full chaturanga, your only one for today. I want you to work with this one to take 3 breaths to lower down. Elbows draw to the back of the room. Feel your flame flickering and feel it dancing. And ever so slowly, allow the belly to meet the mat, the shoulders to meet the mat. Take the hands to the backs of the room, resting on the backs of your hands, and draw right cheek and right ear to the mat. And taking 3 breaths to come to rest. And gentle twist now in your cervical spine, enjoying this release and working the shoulders to square off, allowing the neck this gentle rotation. Your final breath, and then prepare to release through the left side. Ever so slowly drawing to rise and taking that rotation now across into the left. Left cheek, left ear meeting the mat. And as you draw that left side to release, and cervical spine, and taking this gentle twist. And maybe your neck is nice and loose and you're able to gaze to the stars from here with that over that right shoulder. Releasing and softening ever so slowly through that left side of the vertebra, allowing the rotation to take place for your final breath. And yogis, as you draw back through the midline, we're going to plant the hands and slowly release our body onto the mat, allowing the entire back body to be supported. And finding the legs nice and long and pointing the toes. Reaching the big toes together to touch, extending your arms overhead and reaching towards the front of the room, toes reaching to the back of the room. And as you find your final deep conscious breath here, we inhale and draw the breath to the belly. Open your mouth, fogging up your mirror. Exhale, release. Setting the feet nice and wide. Setting the hands nice and wide. Staying in our star shape for our Savasana today. And as we work through our phases and stages of alignment, we notice that there are still patterns to be perceived. There is still some method amidst the madness. And when we can stand back and witness and observe from the macro, we release the need to control the micro. And although it's a practice, know that it is a practice for our yoga that extends beyond the mat. And when we are finding the need to control every little thing within the micro, we find ourselves, our fire, burning wildly out of control. If you're able to, let go and trust and simply know when you're in that state of knowing that things are not really out of control. Maybe you can't see clearly the mirror, the path, but there's still pattern and there's still cycles taking place, and everything is perfect and everything is perfectly aligned. Allow your fire to burn ever so slowly. And yogis, as you come back to your conscious breath, feel free to hit pause now and extend your savasana, and otherwise staying nice and warm. Let's bring some movement to the fingers and to the toes. And maybe finding that elongation once more from fingertip to toe tip as you take another breath. And as you exhale, send your fiery little flames overhead, your hands, your toes. Maybe finding them connecting. Let's take a cross of the ankles. And drawing the knees into the chest, draw the forehead towards the knees. And as you exhale and slowly release, take a gentle rock and roll up and down the body. And finding your rock and roll eventually drawing you to a seat. And releasing the knees and taking your Sukhasana. Let's take a sweep of these hands, sending them wide. Inhale, draw to rise, interlace the hands one final time. Opening the gaze to the stars, firmly affixed and planted with your sit bones. Keep your eyes on the stars, but your feet on the ground. Exhale, release the hands, take a sweep, and we come back to our Linga Mudra, the left thumb elevated, your right index finger looping over the left. Take the fingers to all interlace and then circle the left thumb with the right. As you set your Linga Mudra back into the base of your belly, we take 3 breaths to close practice. Deep inhale. Feel the fire within you. Open the mouth. Fogging up that mirror and releasing some of the fire. Inhale, 2 more breaths. Yogis, gently blink open the eyes, release your Linga Mudra. And finding the hands in prayer at heart center. We hang the chin heavy, we bow the head in respect, in reverence, as we head off the 4 corners of our mat and into the unknown. Yogis, thank you for sharing your fire and the unknown with me today. Namaste.